Okay, homework 4, St. Olaves, Newstead. We've got the same reading book suggestions, so try and finish this book within this week. And let's get into the comprehension section. So we've got Meadowland. As he took numerous steps forward, his senses were completely engrossed by the overwhelming beauty that surrounded him. Okay, so that's the first sentence of this comprehension. What I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly read it and highlight some key points and then go through the answers to the questions. So this seems to be a story about, well, it's sort of an incomplete story, but we start off sort of getting this idea that there is this group of people that are climbing through mountains, right, and within woods, and they're at a considerable altitude. You can see the mountain region was unforgiving. They're using primitive tools and things like torches and sharp machetes to keep insects and animals away, right? And they're going towards something, so they're going towards a destination. And if you sort of skip ahead, you can see they end up at the destination, which seems to be the windmill, and I think they're going to do something with that windmill, right? So it's quite a vague story, but let's see what the questions are saying. So the extract is written in which one of these? So first person is when you're saying I am doing this, I saw this, etc. Person, I believe, is when it's like he is doing something. And second person is when the narrator basically says you are doing something. So it's similar to first person, but it's the narrator sort of calling you out, right? And then third person is like he. So if you say he did this and then he walked up the stairs, that's third person. And what we've got here, I mean, even the first sentence says he took numerous steps forward, his senses. You can see it's all in third person, so the answer is C for this one. Question 2, in the first paragraph, what emotion did the narrator express in relation to what was surrounding him? So if we look at this first sentence, you've got his senses were completely engrossed by the overwhelming beauty that surrounded him, and it looks like it's captivating his mind, body and soul, and I don't think it gives any other emotion there, but it does very clearly, like, this isn't fear. What are the options? It isn't anxiety, it's not insanity either, and despondence, I think you should know this from one of our previous homeworks, but despondence means like very sad, melancholy, so it's not that either. We're left with either fascination or exhilaration. They both seem to work quite well. We'll see here. And so if we go a bit more, I'd say, deeper into the definitions of each. So exhilaration is being like very, very elated or very happy about something. So you're exhilarated, for example, maybe when you're on a roller coaster. It's just like this really powerful joy. Fascination is more about sort of seeing something, being very curious in a way, strongly interested and attracted seems to be the best way. So now, in terms of the first paragraph, he's overwhelmed by beauty that's surrounding him, and the presence is captivating his body, mind and soul. Now, which one of these emotions seems to work the best in this first paragraph? This is less like a roller coaster and more like fascination, right? Where you're very interested and captivated by everything that's going on, rather than it being pure joy, right? So we'd go with option B as the best answer for this question. And yeah, let's go on to question 3. How is the narrator traveling in this passage? So we've got on foot, by motorcycle, or by automobile. So if we look over here, they continue moving. It doesn't say anything about it so far. You've got heavier footsteps of their fellow adventurers, and that seems to be all the evidence that we've got around here. But footsteps does make it quite clear that it isn't on motorcycle, automobile, helicopter or animal. It's actually on foot, option A. So the phrase he found himself genuinely icebound in line 5 suggests that the narrator feels something. Okay, if we look at line 5, we've got here. So at times he found himself genuinely icebound. So if you think about icebound or being bound by ice. It's another way of saying frozen. So you're maybe frozen in how beautiful everything is. Like it's so amazing to you, right? So what does the option here say? It suggests that he feels frigid, apprehensive, astonished, playful, or like an ice sculpture. Now, frigid would mean like very scared, and there's no real evidence of that in the passage. Apprehensive means to... Again, there's no real evidence of that in the first paragraph at least. Playful isn't really mentioned, and like an ice sculpture, that is literally what it means, but that's not what he's trying to get at figuratively. So if you look at everything, the context behind it, he's captivated by the beauty surrounding him, and he's icebound probably because he's so fascinated by that beauty, and not because he actually just feels like an ice sculpture or feels cold in whatever way that option is trying to say. Option C is the best option there. Astonished. The narrator is astonished by everything that they're seeing. It's making them freeze up because it's so amazing. Question 5. The phrase captivating his mind, body and soul in line 3 implies the narrator feels what? Okay, so we've got here, again, right up here, it's talking about the sky, which is crystal clear. It held a captivating presence, and it's captivating his mind, body and soul. Confined, so that means like imprisoned or feels trapped. That's not what the passage is implying. Again, like a slave wouldn't work either. He's not in pain, like he could not budge or think. Now, again, this is, I can see why someone might put this, but this is the icebound idea. It's from it's from the beauty of everything, and that's also actually not part of this text, right? So don't get confused just because we mentioned just a second ago that he's icebound. We're talking about what does captivating his mind, body and soul mean, and that would actually best be described as he's enchanted by everything around him. Enchanted is another way to basically say he's captivated by everything. Alright, question 6. The phrase some of these creatures had tried to prey upon them, only to be frustrated, disappointed and repelled by the team's blazing torches and sharp machetes. In line 13 to 15 is an example of which one of these. So with this one we've got the creatures being frustrated, disappointed. Now these are human emotions, and attributing them to creatures is basically personification. So that is our answer here for question 6. Question 7, which of the following does not contribute to the sense of peril in the passage? So peril means danger. So we've got a few options here. Hushed murmurs of caution and concern. The mountain in this region being unforgiving, so that's obviously adding to the sense of danger. Devoid of any signs of human presence, again, that adds to the danger. With human presence, you usually assume a place is a bit safer because you've got people that can help you, right? Potentially poisonous plants, that definitely adds to the danger. Now we've got either B or A, so hushed murmurs of caution and concern, and also slightly heavier footsteps. So you can see what happens is, occasionally, the woods is silence. So, I mean, probably the silence could add to the sense of peril or danger, but it basically just says that the silence is sometimes broken with heavier footsteps of fellow adventurers. That doesn't particularly add to the sense of danger. But obviously hushed murmurs of caution and concern, so people that are worried about what's going on, is definitely adding to the sense of danger. So I would say option B is not the answer here. Option A is the one that doesn't contribute to the sense of peril. Okay, question 8. The clouds are described as soft marshmallows, which makes them sound like they are. Which one of these options? So soft marshmallows wouldn't be firm. Sweet or light. Okay, now all of these seem to be interesting. Let's see where we've got soft marshmallows. So we've got here fluffy white clouds drifted lazily above, resembling soft marshmallows. Okay, so now which one best fits into that sentence? Tacky. So tacky would mean, I believe, sticky. I don't think that would be what the author is trying to get at. Or neither would sweet. It's not talking about the taste of the clouds. And now we've got either light or velvety as our two options, but you can see here the idea that he's trying to get across, so the reason we're using this simile right here, is to emphasize the fluffiness of the clouds. It doesn't actually anywhere mention that the clouds are light. So velvety is another way of saying fluffy. So C would be the best answer there. Question 9. Which combination of vocabulary creates a sense of relief in the passage? So, footsteps ceaseless heavier, prey blazing sharp, lazily toyed eluded, novelty pattern precious. Okay, so think about the connotations. So connotations means what do these words make you sort of think about when you hear them. So if you think about footsteps and heavier, that's actually part of the earlier part of the passage where things are a bit dangerous. And even if you think about footsteps getting heavier and them being ceaseless, meaning they never end, it's not particularly a sense of relief that you get. Neither is prey blazing and sharp. They're very dangerous words. Novelty, that means stuff that's new. Patterned means just things in a pattern. And then precious, I'm sure you know what precious means, but I wouldn't say that is creating a sense of relief. Now option C, if you look at lazily, toying and eluded, we've got that even in this section of the passage, I believe. We've got the clouds lazily drifting above, what is it, their faces toying with their tousled eluded their grasps. So that's the wind. If you can imagine this, even if you don't understand the majority of the words here, but you can imagine even the clouds drifting lazily above and the wind sort of being very gentle and toying with their hair, that is giving us a sense of relief after the intense period that we had in the start of the passage. So option C is the best answer here. Question 10. In line 9, hushed murmurs of caution and concern. Murmurs are used for which two reasons? Mark two answers on the answer sheet. So we've got, it suits the scenario better than sounds. It indicates the team was exhausted. It endangers a disquieting atmosphere. The writer liked the sound. It has two syllables, so it creates a better flow. Now we're gonna go ahead with eliminating some of these options. So you can see this question is asking, for example, why did the author use the word murmurs rather than something else, I believe. And so it indicates the team was exhausted. It does not. So if you look at the passage, the murmurs of caution and concern are because they're worried about getting to a considerable altitude, which means something like very high up. So being worried isn't exactly the same as being exhausted. They're actually quite different. In danger disquieting atmosphere, I think that makes sense. The writer liked the sound. There's no evidence for that, and it has two syllables, so it creates a better flow. Murmurs. But I mean, it does have two syllables, but there's no reason, and there's no evidence to say it creates a better flow in the thing. So what we've got left is A and C, so that would be our answers. Just to explain those, it suits the scenario better than suits. So basically it's saying that if he said hushed sounds of caution and concern, it suits the scenario better to say hushed murmurs instead, which I would agree with. And it says it endangers a disquieting atmosphere. So that means it makes the atmosphere, which is already like quiet and a bit like shaky, dangerous, it endangers it even more. So you can see already, so there's a deep silence, and then the hushed murmurs is endangering that atmosphere. So we've got option A and option C as our best answers here. Question 11. The description in lines 28 to 31. Surprisingly, the windmill appeared far from weathered, instead it exuded an air of freshness and delight. The bricks were bright and intricately patterned, giving the impression of weightlessness, as if it might take flight at any moment. Has which two effects on our impression of the windmill? Okay, so our impression of the windmill, it says it's far from weathered, so it's not like old and rusty. Not, right? Because it says far from. And then it says exuded air of freshness and delight, so it's quite fresh and new. The brakes were bright, weightless. So it's not saying that the windmill is industrial or heavy, or that it's somber. And it's saying it's vitality, so that means like very lively, and gleeful, which means happy. So these are two words that hopefully you should know, and add to your vocabulary list. And option E renders the windmill seemingly apprehensive. Again, apprehensive means like cautious, and that is not the case with this paragraph. Okay, question 12. Both of the clouds and the windmill are likened to being light, contributing to the impression of the environment as being which two of the following? Okay, so light, what did it say? Yeah, basically just likened to being light. So murky or dirty, that's not correct. That's not what it gives the idea of. Neither is stiff. Stiff is quite opposite to being light. Substantial means big. Again, it's not what the idea of the word light would connotate. But inviting and tranquil, so that means peaceful and inviting. So when you're talking about the clouds being light and fluffy and the windmill being light, comparing to everything that we heard before where everything is really heavy and quite dangerous, it's making it seem a lot more inviting and peaceful. So that's why we've got C and D as our answer here. Okay, now we're on to the maths section. So using the information that 4.8 times 34 is equal to this, write down the value of question 13. So you could still do long multiplication, but it's asking you to use this information to make it easier. So if you think about 4.8 times this is 163.2. If we just 48 instead, means the decimal place was moved one to the right, this one would just move to the right. It would be 1632 as our answer for this one. Now 3.4 instead, you just have to move the decimal place to the left for this one, and we'd move this one to the left, so it would be 16.32 for this one. Now it says work out 3.75 times 24. So this is just normal multiplication. If you do 4 times 5, we'll get 20. 4 times 7, it will give us 28. And then add the 2 will be 30. 4 times 3 is 12, add the 3 is 15. And then we put the 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 7, add the 1 is 15. 2 times 3, add the 1 is 7. And then we add those together. 80. We've got 8,000. Now there are two numbers behind the decimal point. So you can see 1, 2. So that means we have to go 1, 2. So our answer here is 80.0. Sorry, I did the addition here wrong. 7 plus 2 is 9, so it should be 90.0. And that is our answer for that one. So again, for any multiplication, you just do it normally, and then you look at the number of decimal points, number of numbers behind the decimal point, and you do the same. So this one, I'll basically just use a calculator for this. We've got 75.6. So again, if you did the multiplication normally and then you moved the decimal point 2 points to the left, you'd have actually 75.6. So it is 0 and your answer. Now this one, 20 times 0.8. Again, you can do it normally. I like to do another method, which you can do 20 times 0.1, which would be 2. You're just moving the decimal point 1, 2. That would be 2, and then you times that by 8 to get to 0.8. So 2 times 8 is 16. And that's our answer. So 20 times 0.8 also actually just means 80% of 20. 0.8 is equal to 80%. So if you know how to figure that out, that's the same thing. Now 20 divided by 0.8, with this one, you have to make this into a whole number. So times this by 10, that'll give you 8, and then times that one by 10 as well, that'll give you 200, and then you complete the division. And what you should get from this is 2.5. Now we've got question 19. I'm just going to rub everything out here. (0.2 times 200). So again, an easier way to do this is 0.1 times 200, which is much easier because all you have to do is move the decimal point back 2 places. So you got move it back 1 place. So there you get 20 as your answer for 0.1, and then you just times that by 2 to get to 0.2, which will give us 40. Again, if you find that difficult, just do normal log multiplication and you'll get your answer, but the answer for this one is 40. Okay, now Jamie goes on a holiday to Florida. The exchange rate is £1 to $1.7. He changes £900 to dollars. How many should he get? So I like to set it up like this. 1 equals 1.7. $1 equals £1. And then we've got 900 is equal to what? Question mark. So we went from here to here, we did times 900. So we just have to times this by 900 to find our question mark number, right? So if we times 900 by 1.7, we'll get 1530. And that will be our answer for question 20. Question 21. The table shows the cost of 2 different models of the Eiffel Tower. So we've got £2.40 for the small and £4.50 for the large. So he buys 10 small models, which is £24 if you times that by 10, and then 5 large models. If you times that by 5, you should get 22.5. Sorry, 20. I think. Yeah, it would be £22.5. So he pays with the £50 note. How much change should he get? So if you add these together, you get, that is 46.5, and if you minus that from 50, it's £3.50 change that they require. Okay, question 22. Miss Webb has a roll of ribbon that is 44.1 meters long. She needs strips of ribbon 2.5 meters long. Okay. So, how many strips will we need? So if we do 2.5, actually let's times them both by 10. So we'll get 25 divided by 441. And then we can do, how many times does 25 go into 441? 17. So 25 times 17 is going to be 420. And what we can do is do that minus. We'll get 5, 16. My mistake, we don't have to do that section. We've got 17 point something here, right? So that's how many you'll get. So it says from one roll of ribbon, which is 44.1, how many 2.5 meter long ribbons will she get? It'll be 17 and something, but it won't be one full after that, right? So 17 full 2.5 meter strips, and then there'll be one which is not a full strip, so we're not going to count it. So our answer here is going to be 17. Question 23. Scott has a rope that is 8 meters long. He says I need 9 pieces of 0.9 meters long. Okay, so how many times does 0.89, go into 8? We have to times this by 100 to give us 89 divided by 800, and then we can work from here. So 89 goes into 800 8 times, and that will give us 712. And if we minus that, that'll give us 88. And how many times does this go into that? Well, what we've got actually is, so what we found here is Scott has enough for 8 0.89 meter long pieces. He wanted 9, and he hasn't got enough for 9 basically. He would need more than 800 or more than 8 meters to have 9. So the answer here will be no. Okay, question 24. Below is a 2p coin. Each 2p coin is this thick. Stephen builds a tower of 250 2p coins. So we just have to do 250 times the thickness to figure out how thick or how tall this tower is going to be. So you can do this long multiplication. I like to do 0.185 and then times it like that. And you just do it normal timesing, and then what you can do is move the decimal point 3 places. So this is what you should get, and then you should move the decimal point 1, 2, 3 to get to 46.2 centimeters tall. Okay, now we're on to the verbal reasoning section. So question 25, we've got how many letters are in the longest word that can be made only from the letters in bold that have a vertical line of symmetry. So I assume this is supposed to be in bold. And which ones have a vertical line of symmetry? So a vertical line would mean like this. So we've got A has that line, M, and that seems, and I as well. And okay, so it's only those 3. So A, I, and M, right? How many words can we make from that? Well, we've got aim, and Mia is a name. That's not a word, so we're not going to use that. I think aim is the only one. Aim is the word here, and that has 3 letters. So the answer would be E. Question 26. Without changing the order of the letters, which letter can be changed in the word letter? So if you change the T and the T, which letters can be changed to make a new, okay, so to make a new 6-letter word. So we can only choose one letter here, and we have to make it into a new word. So if we change it to maybe, if we change the E to an I, that will give us the word litter. So the answer here should be I. Since I isn't here, I assume it wants us to choose another option. So if we change the L into a B, we'll get better. So that would be option A as our answer. Actually, without which letter can... Oh, sorry, my mistake. So I would have worked as well, so we've got actually 2 answers here. The B, we can change the E or the L, so it could be A or B for this one. Which letter can be changed? And I think that's it. Better. Yep. So it'll be A or B. Alright, question 27. Which word is the odd one out? We've got calf, lamb, kid, sheep, and puppy. So these are all. So this is a cow, baby cow. That's a baby sheep. That's a baby. I think it's a baby goat. It's called a kid. And then a puppy is a baby dog. Now, sheep isn't a baby anything. So actually, D would be the odd one out for this one. Alright, question 28 now. We've got in the sentence below, 4-letter word is hidden at the end of the start of the end of one word and the start of the next. So you have to find the 4-letter word that is hidden here. I can see it already. If I look here, we've got Jean. So I just look at the gaps until I see something, and I already saw Jean. So what is true of the hidden word? So Jean, the second letter is a vowel, which is E. So option B is the correct answer here. Question 29. Without changing the order of the letters or the letters are in, how many 6-letter words can be created by joining any 2 of the words in bold together? So we've got, okay, so we've got cat, catop, catper, catset. No, none of those work. So we can't use cat. We could try per cat or top cat or set cat. Okay, so top cat. I believe that might be a word. I'll have to double check. We've got per cat, so per top, per set, or set per, and top per, topper. So that's a word. And then we've got top set, or set top, Nope, that doesn't seem to work. So we've got 2 here. I don't think topcat's a word actually. So we're left with the word topper, which will be option A. There's only one word that we can make from these. And here is the definition of topper for you. Question 30. So arrange the words of the following sentence in descending order of length. So the longest word here is elephants. Second longest, I believe this is 5 letters and this is 6. So it should be elephants wildly roam, which is option D. Question 31. Arrange the words of the following sentence into descending order of number of vowels. Okay, so we've got, we've got 1 vowel here. This one has 3 vowels, and this one has 2. So descending order would be puppies sleep his. So that's option B. Question 32. Arrange the words of the following sentence in reverse alphabetical order of their first letter. So reverse alphabetical, that means basically instead of alphabetical order, it's just the other way around. So if we look at, basically just cancel out everything else, we've got A, C, L. Okay, so which is the furthest to the right on the alphabet? Well, S is, and A is actually, it should be last, right, because reverse alphabetical. So always should be last, so actually we can cancel out all of these options. And then S should be first because it's the furthest in the alphabet, and that's option D basically. You can check the other 2 as well. Late is further in the alphabet than C. Sorry, L is further in the alphabet than C. And so we'd get option D. Question 33. Rearrange the words of the following sentence in descending number of syllables. So syllables, it's like you sound out the word. So direct, that's 2 syllables. Pathways is 2. Rarely is 2. And then twist is 1. So twist should always be last. And the rest of these are actually 2 syllables, right? It says if they're in the same number of syllables, arrange them in the same order. Meaning we should just keep this in the exact same order that it already is, because it's already in the correct order. So direct, pathways, rarely, twist. Question 34. Which of the following words from this list are homophonic? So homophonic means that they sound the same. So taught, taught, court and port. Okay, so court and port don't sound the same. They rhyme, but they're not the same. And we're left with taught and taught as our answers. So option A. Alright, now we're on to the NVR section. So work out the code for figures 1, 2 and 3, and then decide which box has the correct code. So instead of being, it looks like we've been given the code here. So we've got FG is equal to this, HJ is equal to this, etc, etc. Now, if we look at the duplicates here, we've got F here and F here. We can, what's similar between these 2 shapes? They both have a triangle. So F likely, F in the top right corner likely means that it's going to have a triangle. H would therefore mean that it's a square. Now this one has a square, so it should be H. Now if we look at what else, the bottom is all different. The bottom letters are all different, meaning it has to be a property that's completely different in all of these shapes. So we've got this one, the circle is at the top, circle is in the middle, and circle is at the bottom. So I probably means circle at the bottom. That means this one should be I. So HI, which is option A. Question 36. We've got P and P. Likely resembles that it has to be a triangle, and S would mean circle. So that should be an S. And R here likely means that the shape is white. T would therefore mean that the shape is grey. So TS would be our option D. Here we've got J and J. So J seems to mean that the outside of the box is dashed or dotted. And L would therefore mean a straight line. So this one should be L. And then K and K here seems to mean that the arrow would be pointing upwards. So this should be a K. So you can see LK. Again, you have to just look at the duplicates and then figure out what property is it resembling. So same here, M and M, that seems to resemble a diamond. R would therefore resemble this trapezium, so this one should be an R. Then we've got N, P, S, so these are all different. It has to be a property that is different in all of them. To me it looks like the outside shape, so the circle is on the right here. Circle top left is P. Arrow top right is S. So circle top right, that is the same as N. So this one should be N, meaning Rn, option C. Okay, question 39. We've got to work out the code for figures 1, 2 and 3 and then decide which box has the correct code. So we've got, again, we've got U and U, and if we look at both U's, both of these have two white shapes, whereas W seems to mean, actually no, that doesn't seem to be the case, because W also has two white shapes, so it has to be a different property that it's resembling. To me it looks like the grey shape, so U and U means grey cube, and W means grey triangle. Now this one doesn't have a grey triangle or a grey cube, so I assume it's not going to be U or W. So I think it's actually going to be A, but let's look at what the top one means. I think the top one, because they're all different, it could symbolize the order, right? So cylinder, cube, triangle, etc. So this actually matches X, so it should be XT. That makes sense. Option A. Alright, question 40. So which one is the odd one out now? Okay, so we've got, this is a weird one, but maybe you can see all of these mazes seem to start and finish. So if we look at this one, doesn't have any route to the finish, it's a dead end. This one finishes, and this one finishes as well. So B is the odd one out here because it doesn't have any way to get from start to finish. So you can see sometimes they can give you odd one out questions where it's not even about particular properties in a shape, but just in terms of like thinking about it on an abstract level. Alright, question 1 here, or 41, sorry. This one's going to be about the shape. So what's odd here? Well, this has got 5 circles and 5 stars. To me, I'm seeing a pattern. So if I look at the line, right, you can see the line here. You've got 3 circles and 2 stars here, and then 2 circles and 3 stars. So you can see this sort of reflection. And we've got the same here, 3 stars and 3 circles, 4 circles and 4 stars. So again, you can see that 3 and 3, 4 and 4. That's what I'm seeing. There's 3 here, there's 2 here, so that doesn't seem to match 1 and 2. So this already seems a bit odd, option C. And this one's got 2, 2, and then 4, 4, so that matches, and then 3, 3, and 1, 1. So you can see the rule here, that all of the other shapes, they've got a number of stars on one side, and then the number of circles on the other side matches that number. Option C, it doesn't, so option C is the odd one out. Question 42 now, we've got triangle. It looks like these are all in the same order. You've always got, so like A, you can rotate it to get C. C you can rotate to make D, and D you can rotate to make E. And actually B is the only one where you can't rotate these shapes to make B, like the order is different. So if you look at it clockwise, you can see the circle should actually be here, and the triangle should be here. With all of these, the clockwise pattern is the same. You've got star, circle, triangle, circle. Star, circle, triangle, circle, star, triangle, circle, right? With this one, you got star, circle, circle, triangle. So option B is the odd one out. Okay, with this one, I'm thinking I have to count these shapes. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You've got 11 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It might be to do with the shapes. We got, that was 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's look at, it might be to do with the number of sides, sorry. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And then we've got 6 times 5 as well. So that's 60 total sides here. This one, each star I believe has 10 sides, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 100 sides already, and then that is 109 sides total. This one is 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. That's 25. Added 9 is 36. I'm not seeing any pattern here, to be honest. I do see one thing, so I don't think it's going to be the number of sides or number of shapes, but if we look at the shapes themselves, all of these have a line of symmetry. You can see that line of symmetry, and then this one as well, symmetry, symmetry. Now option A, you've got this line of symmetry, so this shape is fine. Actually, you do have this line as well. I think, yeah, this one's got a shape. But it does look like they're a bit different. Actually, yeah, I'm not sure if... I don't think this is a line of symmetry. It might be. Let's see if there's any other rules we can think of. Yeah, after looking at it a bit more carefully, it does seem like this option, this shape, I'm not sure how well you can see it on your paper, but there is no line of symmetry there. Even if we try and draw this down, I'll do it again on here. I'm trying to do it with my mouse. But it's not the same shape, it's not the same shape both times. So you can see the shape is different. And this side is a bit... You can see actually this length is longer than this one. And this isn't... Yeah, I mean, it's not even a regular shape as well, so you could say that all of the other ones are regular shapes. But A is the odd one out there because it doesn't have that line of symmetry. And I think actually I was a bit... yeah, I mean, that's sort of the answer we've got there. So question 44, final question here. We've got... I'm looking at maybe 2 stars, 3 stars. Okay, it doesn't seem to be a thing with the stars, but it could be a number of shapes. We've got 4 shapes, 3, so we've got 8 here. We've got 10 here. 10. 10. 4. So we've got 11 here. There doesn't seem to be any other rule, and the only thing we could really come down to here is these are all even number of shapes, and this is an odd number, so we're going to go with option E as the odd one out there.